have to redo it. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is Wednesday, October 27th, and you have logged into today's webinar on small business resources. Today's webinar will focus on all of the variety of different resources that are available to you as a small business, as you are looking to do business with the government. And that could be the federal government, the state, the city, or the county. So today's webinar is a part of a webinar series leading up to the Ohio Business Matchmaker. And the Ohio Business Matchmaker is our signature contracting event that we have partnering with the PTAC, the SBDCs, the state of Ohio, Ohio Department of Development. Someone can turn, I hear a echo, but the matchmaker is an opportunity for small businesses to get in front of government entities and to more or less pitch their services, who they are, and what they do, to see if there's a match with that government and what they're looking to buy. So we do recognize that some of you may have participated in the matchmaker in the past. This is about our 15th, 16th year doing this. And prior to COVID, we did do it in person. Yeah, it's been some time since we've done some in-person events, but we did it in person in Dayton in April. And because of the pandemic, last year was the first year that it went virtual. It will be virtual again this year, November 17th and 18th. And then always leading up to the matchmaker, we have different webinars to help you as small businesses to get prepared if you haven't participated in the past. So I'm really excited about today's webinar because we do have 5 different resources, excellent resources here in Ohio, not just to help you in your efforts to do business with the government, but in your efforts to do business, period. Maybe we do have a resource, the SBDC Small Business Development Center, and the Minority Business Assistance Centers that also provide other services that may be able to assist you, and some other resources, not just for government contracting, but general business in general. So I think without further ado, I'll just do a couple housekeeping items. I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Shonda Harris. I am a business opportunity specialist with the Small Business Administration, and we are partnering with PTAC to bring this webinar today. And again, it is leading up to the matchmaker that will be next month. It is being recorded, so I believe a couple people typed in the chat they may not be able to stay the entire time, so will be recorded. The link will be posted on the Ohio Business Matchmaker website, where all of the webinars that we have been doing thus far this year, and I believe I saw the webinars from last year, are on there, as well as the PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center's website. They do have some tremendous resources, the links for all of the webinars for the matchmaker, as well as the links for we do a government contracting series. We partner with PTAC every year. So all of the webinars we've been doing with PTAC all of last year for a variety of different things are posted on their website. You have access to that. And I do believe the slides for each of the presenters will be up on PTAC site as well. We will ask that while the presenters will have about 20 minutes. So if you do have a question, you can go ahead and type it in the chat, and I will pose it to the presenter and you can ask during that session. And then at the end, before we wrap up, we'll do another just general Q&A session. And I think that's about it. I will just go ahead and allow every single resource, they'll introduce themselves once they present, as well as give an overview of their particular program that they're with, or the organization. So today we have the Small Business Development Center, and this is the order that will go in. The Small Business Development Center, or SBDC. We have the MBAC, Minority Business Assistance Center. We have Jesse Mark with MBAC, Ellen Harvey with SBDC. Then we have the MBDD, I believe that's it, Minority Business Development Division with the Ohio Department of Development. Hey, I get a prize for that. So we have Miss Chandretta Boykins that will be presenting. And we have the Ohio University PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We have Jane, why did I forget Jane's? We have Jane Stewart. Jane Stewart. The jokes got to me. We have Jane Stewart presenting, Assistant Director with PTAC. And then last but not least, we have our SBA PCR Procurement Center representative, Mr. Phil McLean. So without further ado, we will ask if you're not presenting, and if the presenters are okay, we'll just have you upload your slides. If you can't do that, I will do that, but you can go ahead and upload your slides and forward them. But if you're not presenting, we'll just ask if you turn off your cameras so that it won't be a distraction to everyone else. And we'll go from there. So Ms. Ellen Harvey from the Small Business Development Center is joining us today and will be presenting. So Ellen, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Let me get my presentation up here. And can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So yes, my name is Ellen Harvey. I'm with the Ohio Small Business Development Center. We're located at Columbus State Community College. And we are a resource that is available to small businesses for whatever their needs are, from starting a business to expanding, and of course, for helping and assisting with government contracting. So I am a certified business advisor with the Small Business Development Center. But in addition to that, I'm also a capital access manager for a crowdfunding platform that we're over, Kiva Columbus. In addition to that, I specialize in accessing the capital. So I'm handy to know if in fact that you are looking at a government contract and you're needing funding to fulfill that contract, or needing funding to make sure you have enough money in place to continue on a contract that you might currently have. Also QuickBooks certified and GrowthWheel certified, and also a serial entrepreneur myself. So if you don't know anything about the Ohio Small Business Development Center, we are an economic development entity. We are a part of the Ohio Department of Development, and we are a program that's administered by the Small Business Administration. As I mentioned before, we are located at Columbus State Community College. We are working virtually right now, but our services are still available to you. Our particular office serves Columbus and surrounding counties. So we cover an 8-county region. There are 29 centers in the state of Ohio. So if we are not a center that's close to you, that likely there's one that is. We're part of a 1,000 nationwide network. So the Small Business Development Center, is particularly our office, is really known for assisting and helping with startups, but that's not all that we're about, right? So our services as far as counseling and providing that certified business advising and our training events is really for any business during any stage of a business's life. And some of those services that we offer that really come and are helpful to those that are looking at government contract opportunities, or again, currently involved in a government contract opportunity, needing to get some funding, needing to just make sure that they are ready and equipped to take that contract on, is our counseling. And we have counselors that are certified business advisors that have master's degrees in marketing and so forth, that are available to assist you. We provide business assessment evaluations, strategic business planning, cash flow analysis, financial projection development, market feasibilities and research, marketing strategy development, and even manufacturing and technology, as well as exporting assistance. All of this help is provided through one-on-one counseling, as well as the many trainings that we offer. In addition to those services, we also offer export assisting as well in our center. Our lead advisor for that is Roberta Winch, and she is there to assist you if you're looking at doing any type of exporting services. And we're pretty successful at what it is that we do. In 2020, we've advised over 1,755 small businesses, again, in different stages of their businesses. We've helped in facilitating 16 million in financing for our small businesses and creating 64 new jobs, and helping to retain and create another 1,031 jobs. I'm sorry, starting 64 businesses. We've increased client sales by 14 million and conducted over 117 trainings. So it's on a whole bunch of different things, right? Many different topics that we provide our trainings on. And all of those things can be found on our website, which is sbdccolumbus.com, for any events and pre-recorded webinars around anything that you should need in regards to your business. Another thing that we are proud of is that, as I mentioned before early on, that I am also the capital access manager for a crowdfunding program called Kiva. So in addition to providing the counseling and the training, we looked at different avenues that we could provide to our small businesses to help them with challenges and barriers that they may have around funding. And so we stepped up and took on the responsibility of becoming the hub for this crowdfunding platform called Kiva. And so we are the managers of Kiva Columbus. That is one way that we help in providing funding solutions for our small business. In addition to that, we partnered with First Financial Bank to have a microloan program that we offer to small businesses as well. These funding programs are for small bits of money, as Kiva is only up to $15,000, but it is 0% interest, no fees. And it could be something that could be useful to you as a small business as you're looking at a contract, if you're just needing a small bit of money just to get started. And our microloan program with First Financial Bank, again, it's up to $10,000, but again, it's one of those programs that helps in alleviating those barriers that many businesses have around maybe credit or collateral or investment in funds, or just need that short bit of funding while they're waiting on payment for a contract to come in. And so with this funding, we're able to help overcome those barriers by recommendations coming from us as the Small Business Development Center, and with you being able to take advantage of our services as far as counseling and training, as far as our facility, to be able to help you get access to funding for your business. In addition to these programs that we offer at the Small Business Development Center, the Kiva and the First Financial Bank, we also try to provide other funding solutions for you as well, as we don't have a large microloan fund to offer, but what we do is we provide loan packaging assistance and helping you as a small business prepare to speak to your local bank or credit union or local microlender, and helping you to obtain funding for whatever your business needs are. So in addition to providing this training that we now have pre-recorded and have live and available on YouTube, we also provide a document checklist so that you know the items that you need to be gathering. We also provide, again, that counseling to help you as far as evaluating those documents to make sure that they are reflecting an accurate picture that you want to reflect to your banker, to make sure that you are best positioned to seek funding and be approved. And then we also provided a list of questions to ask the lender. So we're trying to make sure that you know the things that you may not know, right? And so you're prepared when you have an opportunity to sit down and talk to a lender, to know what you should ask and what you should be inquiring from them, so that you can best prepare as well in looking and seeking funding for your business. We also have on our website, again, that's sbdccolumbus.com, a startup model. So for businesses that are just getting started and want to know how to put that business plan together and the steps that they need to take, we do offer this startup model that is on our website, and it's something that you can do and work at your own pace. But it also is a great product to take advantage of, even if you're an existing business, to take a look back at your business plan that you may have created a few years ago and say, I need to really update that. And this gives you an opportunity to use this product, to use this tool to do so. So it's something that, again, can be used through any phase in your business as well. We also currently have on our website some videos that we have recorded as we were starting to deal with the pandemic early on, but these videos are still relevant and useful to our small businesses. So take advantage and look at those to see what's available there to help you understand ways and how you can pivot and navigate as we're still trying to come out of this pandemic. And then again, on our website, sbdccolumbus.com, if you go under our events tab, you can find any you can find any current trainings that are being offered that you can take advantage of, and you can register for those at that tab on the events tab. Something great that we have coming up, we've done this for a few years now, is our capital crash course. So again, if you're looking at some type of government contract, or you're wanting to start preparing yourself to position to look at some government contracting, you want to know the funders that are available and that are out there. And so this capital crash course helps to introduce you to local lenders, their requirements and guidelines. And this is going to be offered virtual again this year, and it's going to be on December the 10th. So I want you to save that date if you have any interest in finding out more about funding resources, and it'll be from 10 to 2:30 p.m. So again, I am a certified business advisor with, I'm proud to say, Small Business Development Center. And again, we are located at Columbus State Community College. And so though we are not in our offices, we are still here to serve you, and feel free to reach out to us with whatever your business need is. And thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Great overview. I don't see any questions in the chat, but again, just a wonderful, I'm sure a lot of you may have learned if you weren't familiar with the SBDC. And again, the reason why I started with the SBDC, because as Ellen said, that they're a resource that can assist you at any age and stage of your business development. So if you're just kind of getting started, you're looking to potentially do business with the government, but you're just getting started, you need to do some foundational things. The SBDC is a great resource for you if you're looking for access to capital, especially during while we're still in this pandemic. They have several different resources, the microloans, the Kiva, to assist you if you need assistance with your books, so training. So just utilize them even beyond just utilizing them now as you may be preparing for the matchmaker, but wonderful resource. Next we have, thank you so much, Ellen, is the Minority Business Assistance Center, Mr. Jesse Mark.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Shanda. Excellent job, Ms. Harvey. I'm going to set up my screen share right now. So, as Ms. Harris said, my name is Jesse Mark. I am the Regional Director for the Minority Business Assistance Center located at the Columbus Urban League. So we're a quasi-government program center. There are actually 7 centers in the great state of Ohio. My region crosses the board from as far as north as Marion, Morrow, and Knox County, sweeps through central Ohio, of course, and goes all the way down to Athens and Washington County. So I'll kind of tell you what we do here at the Minority Business Assistance Center. Really what our goal is to provide business opportunities for small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses, and provide market access that leads to sustainable business relationships and growth. So that being said, Shanda, is my screen being, is it shared? Is it good to go?
It looks like it's just still on the first page
Perfect.
of your presentation.
All right, so.
There we go.
All right, here we go. So again, empowering small and minority businesses across Central Ohio and Southeast Ohio, okay? So, just talked about what we're doing here, is to provide the resources. And, I'll say this, much like the SBDC does, we're all in this ecosystem to help entrepreneurs, whether they are in the startup phase, stay-up phase, scale-up phase, right? I again focus primarily with minority, Black and brown businesses, women businesses, veteran businesses, so that we can help them out throughout that growth stage for whatever they're trying to accomplish, whether it be, they're in the ideation phase or they're looking to scale up. And, we send the resources out to the rest of the folks that are in our entrepreneur cohort of sorts. So this is the team. We have a business counselor, Ms. Sharon Francis, Ms. Kathy Armstrong, who does our certifications and outreach, and our program administrator, Ms. Katina Hall. And we can answer just about any question for you, soup to nuts for what you're trying to do. And again, we are a resource to resources. That's where we hang our hat at. Again, we also provide one-on-one counseling, training classes, identifying access to capital. We do partner with the state with the bonding program, which you'll probably hear more about here in a little bit. Contract and procurement assistance. With that being said, for the contract and procurement side of things, we do have access to Dodge reports. So any vendors or contractors that are on the call today, that if you want to have access to that information for any projects that are coming around in your neck of the woods, just give us a call, send an email to me, you have my contact information, and we can get that information out to you. And these are jobs that are scheduled, slated, that are even in the bid process. So, we can give you that access to help you grow your business that way. And then obviously our MBE Edge certifications. We also do the WBE certifications as well as the VBE. So I call those the E's. Minority business, I'll talk about that in a minute. So the certifications, all of the E's that we have, you can also visit us at columbusurbanleague.org/MBAC. I would tell you, if you do go ahead and register your email with that, then you'll become a part of our blog and our constant contact for any information that we're sending out, so that you can stay in the know as things come to us. We disseminate that information out across the board. So some of the things that we do, like currently we're winding down 2021. I can't believe it's almost November already. But what we've done is we set up a curriculum that we have called Driving for Growth, and it's our entrepreneur education curriculum. And basically, we go from anything from helping you out with business concept, customer relations, operations, and organization for your business. We're wrapping that one up right now, but that's just some of the things that we do. We have that as an ongoing curriculum throughout the year. More to come on 2022 schedule. We also have our basic series. We help builders and contractors. Obviously, we talk about the certifications, which is an important way for you to get in that diversity, equity, inclusion space. The market access. Just again, giving you the tools and resources that you need to be able to grow your business. And again, the access to capital. You can be really, really good at doing your business, but it's kind of hard to do without having the proper funding. And I just talked about our education series. So one of the things that we also do is that we have Growth Wheel. Our coaches and myself, we're all Growth Wheel certified. And again, that's a 360 approach that you have for making decisions and being able to take action for your business. Some of the things I already talked about. This is just kind of the spin wheel of different things that we can go down that wormhole and rabbit hole for you to be able to help you get that rifle approach focus for what you need to do to make decisions for your business. That comes in either group sessions or our one-on-one coaching and counseling. We also have our training set up on our YouTube channel. So anything that we've done here in the past, you can go back and search for anything from, learning about QuickBooks, organizing your business, scaling your business, marketing, you name it, the curriculum's out there for you. We also have an office at Ohio University down in Athens, located in Innovation Center. So if anybody is down there in Southeast Ohio on the call today, we do set up appointments to be scheduled. So we are located down there, and we're open for business to be able to help anybody out down in that area. So we talked about the certifications, the E's, as I call them. So, one of the things that I like to do is tell folks that all of these certifications helps you grow your business. And really, there's one that's not on there. It's the GBE. So whether it be the Edge, the MBE, WBE, or VBE certifications, that GBE makes sure that you can become a great business enterprise. So it gives you opportunity for procurement, for contracts with either the cities, the counties, or the state level. So why should you become certified? Let's kind of talk about it. Again, I'm not going to read this to you, but the minority business enterprise, you have to be at least 51% or more controlled by a minority, and it's registered through the Ohio Gateway. If you do have a bid opportunity, all of the MBAC centers do have the ability to put a rush in on your certifications. So if it's one of the pre-qualifications that you have with the construction manager or the developer or the owner of the project, then we can put a rush in with the state to make sure that we can get those certifications done for you in a timely manner. Again, encouraging diversity, growth, and equity is Edge. One of the biggest things about this one is that it's more kind of a income or personal financial wealth, limitations. You know, if your net worth is $750,000 or less, then a lot of cases you would be eligible for obtaining that EDGE certification. Of course, women's business enterprise, only for the ladies, right? And again, that's 51% or more controlled ownership of the business. Yeah, for more information, you can check out our certification trainings and our document tour on our YouTube University channel. And I'll open it up for questions at that point. That's all I have today.
Wow, that was super quick. Thank you, Jesse. I don't see any questions so far. So again, thank you. One of the things I think that's a great asset during this time of the pandemic. Yes, we are facing challenging times, but looking at all the resources and their ability to adapt and pivot to be able to offer services to any company all throughout Ohio and do it virtually. So as Jesse said, I'm just grateful that just like the SBDC, the MBAC also focuses on not just you as a small business, if you're looking to do business with the government, but their focus is for you to become a sustainable business and hopefully a viable business so that you can look to do business with the government. And a lot of times as you may be starting off, you may want to focus at the federal level, but as Jesse named off the certifications that the state has, the local level, a great way to kind of gain entrance into the government market is to look at the local and state levels. So you may have been familiar with MBAC just providing the EDGE and the MBE and the EDGE certification, but they are expanding and offering the VBE and now the woman-owned, the WBE certification. So we're grateful for that. And again, with all of these resources and all of the webinars that we're doing to help prepare you for the matchmaker, the certifications, doing business with the government, those are tools to assist you as a small business, to open up a new market, to open up an opportunity for you to grow and expand as a small business. So we're just grateful to have the MBAC and Jesse. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to the MBDD, the Minority Business Development Division, which is new with the state of Ohio at the Ohio Development Services Agency. So we have Ms. Chandrita Boykins.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse and Ellen. Shonda, I should have requested to go first. I like to do my part and get out the way and let greatness follow me.
Oh, you all are great. Hey, we do have a question, but I'll go ahead and let you go ahead and get started. I just saw it pop up in the chat, and then you may be able to assist it, answer it, or we'll have Jesse kind of chime in at the end, but I don't want to steal your thunder, so go ahead.
Okay, no worries. As Shonda stated, my name is Chandrita Boykins. I'm the Business Solutions Manager with the Minority Business Development Division at the Ohio Department of Development, longest title in history. And I handle 4 of our 6 financial assistance programs. I'm over bonding. I'm over the 2 new loan programs we just stood up. I was very instrumental and influential in bringing those products to market, which I'll cover as I go throughout the presentation. One is called the Ohio Minority Microloan, and the other one is called the Women's Business Enterprise Loan. I'll also touch on our direct loan, and I'm over our bonding program as well. So this presentation is 31 slides long. I will not go through all 31 slides. So if you bear with me, I will skip around and hit the high level points.
You're fine. You can go ahead and
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So bear with me because I'm working with 2 screens right now, and it's acting as if it does not want to go to the next slide. Okay. Can you see the access to financial assistance slide?
It looks like it's still on your first slide.
It's still on the first one? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see how to change that.
And maybe while you're doing this, we'll just do a good
Yeah,
segue.
take the question. That's
We will
perfect.
take the question, and Jesse, if you can kind of chime in while Chandretta is working that out. Lisa has a question. How long does it take to get approval for the WBE certification?
I think right now, I know, just had a call with the folks that handle the certifications in the state. Just Chandrita, you probably concur with the statement, but I know that they had just told us that overall, you know, there are over 265 packages that the 6 employees at the state are reviewing right now. So it's kind of, you know, first in, first out for where it is. It doesn't matter which certification it is, because all of the team leads review them as they come in and hit the desktop. So, you know, I know for a fact that, you know, I've seen it go in maybe about 4 to 6 weeks at the fastest, and that's only if there are no questions and the package is, you know, all the T's are crossed, I's dotted, and then I've seen it, you know, again, sometimes, you know, drag out a little bit longer, you know, for maybe, you know, 10 to 12 weeks. So it really just depends on the completeness of the package and, you know, who's getting it, because right now, as Chandrita's going to tell you, you know, there are a lot of great opportunities to access capital. And even right now, a lot of folks are still trying to get that certification so that they can be eligible to get that money. So hopefully answer the question. You know, it's a deep pipeline right now, but, you know, again, I've seen it happen in about 4 weeks, and right now it's probably taking close to about 12.
Thank you.
Not 12 weeks, not 12 weeks, but again, what did I just say? About 10 weeks. Sorry.
Great, awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse. And that was perfect. She said thank you. So I think that answered her question. Okay.
Okay, Shonda, can you see now the access to financial assistance slide?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So again, one of the frequent obstacles a lot of small businesses run into and are not able to grow or expand their businesses because they lack capital. So the Minority Business Development Division decided to be the antidote or solution for that problem. And so we have some loan and bond programs that we've established to promote growth and equity for minority business enterprises in the state of Ohio. So our minority business bonding program, we provide surety bonds up to $1 million to approve state certified minority businesses that allows them to be able to bid on contracts at the state level. We also have the Minority Direct Loan Program, which provides funding from $45,000 to $1.5 million for eligible projects such as the purchase of land, commercial building, machinery, or equipment. And the rate is 3% interest, for the state's portion of the loan. And I'll explain what that means a little bit later. Collateral Enhancement Program is one of the programs that my colleague Natalie Burley handles. And it provides lending institutions with cash collateral if there's a shortfall from a business owner trying to borrow from that financial institution. And then our Ohio Capital Access Program, which can provide funding up to $350,000 for land, building, machinery, equipment. Also working capital for needs such as inventory or payroll up to $250,000. The 2 new programs, as I alluded to earlier, these are my baby dolls. I've been working on these since June 22nd when I started with the state. We were finally able to stand them up on September 30th. So it was a great experience to be a part of. The first one is our Ohio Micro Enterprise Loan Program, which helps to stimulate the growth of new and existing minority business enterprise and women business enterprise businesses with microloans at 0% interest. The minimum loan amount is $10,000 and the maximum loan amount is $45,000. And we'll dig in a little deeper with that as well. And then also the Women's Business Enterprise Loan Program. It provides loans to women-owned and controlled businesses at below market rates, currently up to 3%. The minimum loan is $45,000 and the maximum is $500,000. So I'm going to skip, like I said, I'll skip a few of these because I want to get to these great loan programs. Okay, so the micro enterprise loan program, loan proceeds can be used for pretty much any business operational expense. We can't take trips to Hawaii. We can't buy luxury vehicles unless it's a business cause, but we can spend it for access, working capital, machinery, equipment, leasehold improvements, inventory, and also to refinance current business debt. There's some other agencies, entrepreneur support agencies, CDFIs in the states that lend money to small businesses, but at an elevated interest rate. And so being able to enhance the cash flow of a business by allowing them to refinance that high interest loan is beneficial to the business owner. So it cannot be used to repay delinquent federal taxes, for financing residential property or that's owner occupied, or investment properties, for a change of ownership. So if you're trying to buy out somebody or purchase a franchise or something like that, those dollars cannot be used for that. Reimbursing funds owed to an owner, partner, or shareholder. And then for any non-business purpose, you cannot use the money from the microloan for that. The loan repayment period is 5 to 7 years. It's 5 years for working capital, 7 years for equipment. And the only thing that you would need to provide to get the 7-year term would be an invoice or bill of sale for the equipment that you plan to purchase. If you're interested, and this will be on the slide at the end as well, so if you don't get it down right now, don't stress. minorityBizFinance@development.ohio.gov. Those emails come directly to myself and a colleague of mine. We will respond to you in the order that the email is received. So if you have any questions, or if you're interested in starting the application process for that, for this loan, you want to make sure that you email this email address. I want to reiterate that the MBE or WBE certifications are mandatory and required for this particular loan. So if you are not MBE or WBE certified, you definitely want to reach out to Jesse. If you're in Columbus or our other area, we have 7 additional, as he stated, MBACs in the state of Ohio. They each have a certification specialist, and they can work you through the certification process. Jesse gave you, he said he was on a call this morning, so he gave you the most recent time frame. But that's if all of your paperwork is in order. There's no back and forth between you and the specialist. I've seen them take up to 6 months, and that was, caused on the delay of the client and on the lack of, I would say, capacity of the people that focus on certifications at the state level. So it's best to turn in a complete packet, make sure you check all the items off the checklist, and work with the certification specialist, because that will get you your certification much quicker. The Women's Business Enterprise Loan, the businesses must be 51% owned and controlled by women. So what that means in layman's terms is, if my husband, we own a construction company together. Last week, I was 49% owner, he was 51% owner, but because we want this Women Business Enterprise Loan, we go to the, we change our operating agreement to say that I'm 51% owner and he's 49% owner. We're going to dig really deep to make sure that these businesses are owned and controlled by women, to prevent those things from happening, fraudulent transactions, fronts. We're going to work hard to make sure that the businesses are both owned and controlled by women. That 51% could be one woman or a combination of women, just as long as 51% of the businesses is woman or women owned. The WBE certification is not required, but it is recommended. The reason why we recommend the certification is because that gets you 1.5% discount on the interest rate. The interest rate on the regular interest rate on our WBE loan is 3%. But if you are WBE certified, your interest rate is 1.5% for the life of the loan. The loan terms are between 10 and 15 years. If you're purchasing commercial real estate, your term is 15 years. If you are purchasing equipment, doing leasehold improvements, renovations, machinery, or equipment, which are the only borrowing causes for this loan, then your interest rate would be 1.5% with that certification. So it's a great incentive for you to become certified, WBE certified, if you're applying for that loan, so that you can get the discount interest rate. If you happen to be doing both, so if you happen to be purchasing commercial real estate and also financing equipment, doing leasehold improvements, or any other borrowing costs, we're going to blend the rate. We're going to blend the term for you. And so you'll be looking at a 12.5 year term for the loan. Businesses must be current on all federal, state, local taxes, and on their other finance loans. You can't have any late pays or derogatory marks on your other loans. And then you can't have defaulted on any previous financial assistance provided by development either. So you can't be in default on any of our other loan programs or bonding programs. The proceeds, again, can be used for machinery and equipment purchases, leasehold improvements, renovations, and real estate purchases. Cannot be used for inventory, operating or working capital, rolling stock, which means you can't use it to purchase. If you're a trucking company, you can't purchase trucks or vehicles. That's what rolling stock is. Or repaying federal taxes. You cannot refinance existing business loans under this loan is either. No residential property or investment property, no ownership change or purchase of franchise under here, no reimbursing funds to an owner, partner, or shareholder, and no financing a non-business purpose under the women's business enterprise either. Same email address that you would email for any of our financial programs, you would email for the Women's Business Enterprise Loan, which is minoritybidsfinance@development.ohio.gov. I'm sorry. And then this is how you will connect with us. We have these websites here for the different programs. And then we also have the email address and phone numbers for you to contact if you want to speak directly to myself or my colleague who, again, are overseeing these financial programs, especially the 2 new programs that just came out. So any questions? I feel like I rushed through that and I'm not sure why, because Shonda told me to take my time.
I told you that, yeah, because you do still have a little bit of time if you want to go over something. We don't have any questions in the chat. So if you want to take a few more minutes to go over, especially since some of these are new programs and what they have to offer.
Sure. These programs, so the microloan and the minority business loan are not for startup businesses. For one, with the minority loan, you have to be certified. So, and to get certified, you have to be in business for at least 1 year. Excuse me. So with that particular loan, we would need to see 1 year of historical financial data to qualify for that. And with the Women's Business Enterprise Loan, we need to see 2 years because of the elevated amounts that you're able to qualify for. So I do tell people as well that 2020, we know that year was, it was different for a lot of different businesses. So while we look at those numbers, they don't weigh heavily in our decision of these loans. We are looking to turn the microloan over in about 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from the time that you apply and submit all of your documentation, we're looking to have you decisioned within 2 weeks and then your funds dispersed within 30 days. So we're looking at that program from start to finish after everything is complete, about a 30-day process. For the Women's Business Enterprise Loan, from the time that the underwriter gets it until the time the funds are dispersed, we're looking about 45 to 60 days. And that's barring all of your information has been submitted. And we're not going back and forth, still trying to collect documentation from you. So the turnaround, the first payment is due within 45 days of closing. So you have some time. And we're not pulling your personal credit. The state never pulls your personal credit for any of our loan programs. And I think that that's huge. Again, barring there were some things that happened last year with people, they may have taken a dip. So we're not considering your personal credit. Only your historical financial data for your business is being considered in your decisioning. And we're looking at everything on a case-by-case basis. So we're being a sucker for a story. If you have a good story and can explain to us, if we have some questions why certain things may be a certain way or why your finances may look like this, we will take that under consideration when we look into your individual loan packets.
We do have a couple of questions,
Okay.
which I think this is really good. Are there any fees related to these loans? And is there a prepayment penalty associated for any early payoffs? Great questions, Ellen.
Great questions, and thank you for asking. So with the minority microloan, there are no fees. There's no application fee. There's no required equity from the client. There's no fees at all. With the Women's Business Enterprise, there is a $300 application fee. There's also a 1.5% commitment fee. And then something that's also notable about the direct loan program and the Women's Business Enterprise program is we only fund, the state's portion is only 75% of your total project cost. So if you have a project that costs $100,000, the state is only going to loan you $75,000. The other 25% can either be you pay that 25%, you have the entire 25%, but the minimum required for client equity is 10%. And then we can bring in a third party lender, a CDFI or bank, to make up the other 15% based on what the customer has. So and that's on the Women's Business Enterprise loan. But the micro loan has no fees, no required equity either.
Okay. Also with that, what is the collateral requirement and UCC filing?
So, and I know you asked a question about prepay. There's no prepayment penalty on any of our products. So if you pay the loan off early, you don't get penalized for that at all.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
Especially during this time, COVID.
Yeah. It's a really great, these products are really phenomenal. So with the microloan, there's no collateral requirement because that can be used as working capital. With the Women's Business Enterprise loan, your collateral is the use of funds because there is no inventory or working capital that you can get with the Women's Business Enterprise. It has to be machinery, equipment, or real estate. That is your requirement. That is your collateral. The 10% equity that you're responsible for is kind of your sweat in the game, as we like to call it in the industry, in this ecosystem. And then that other 15% that's either required by you or a third party is cash collateral. So that would be money that you would either have to put in on your own or that you would have to get from a third party. But the collateral is the tangible asset that you'll be using the proceeds, the loan proceeds for.
Awesome. Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I will add this, Shonda.
Go right
Somebody
ahead.
may be thinking.
Yeah.
There's no time. Well, I guess it is. So over the next biennium, we have this $20 million, and it's $5 million per year per program. So it's $5 million 2021, and then $5 million 2022 for each program. And so I will tell you right now, we stood this loan up on September 30th. It's October 27th, and in my pipeline for the Women's Business Enterprise loan, I have $5 million to give away. My pipeline is at 3.18 million right now. So these funds will go quickly. Time is of the essence. It's been in the newspaper. There's been several announcements. It's actually been on the news as well. And then there are local agencies, OWC, NABO, and then statewide. This is a statewide program. So if you are interested in accessing capital to grow your business from the state with low to no interest, I would definitely say the time is now. Time is of the essence to move quickly because at the rate we're going to have our director go back and ask for more money with these budgets, because I truly believe that we're going to run out of money, and that's the goal. But the early bird is going to get the worm on these, so don't delay.
And to that point, because I can see the funds, because we're almost out of 2021, and so they may be able to spend that 5 million, but for 2022, it seems like that may go quick, and maybe, I don't know how many months, but what is the likelihood of them getting more money? And then is there a set amount? Okay, if you do spend the 5 million, is it going to be another 1 million, 2 million? Will it be based on the need? Is there a cap that it will go up to?
Yeah, we're not sure what the director will ask.
Okay.
We have weekly reporting. And
Okay.
so I bet the supply will be based on the demand. We're hoping, I'm hoping at least they'll double what they gave us this time. I'm hoping that they'll go from the 20 million to 40 million. Because then that expands our reach and we're able to touch more businesses and perhaps may be able to create more programs. I have some things up my sleeve for startups and franchises. Y'all keep that a secret that I'm trying to bring to the state. But you never know. It could either be to further these programs or to build new ones and help more small business owners and entrepreneurs.
And I'll ask this up because this is a critical need. If you're not aware, somebody does have a question. I'll get to that, Jesse. You're not aware with the effects of the supply chain shortage and everything that's going on, and with the cargo ships being held up at these ports. And if you've gone into the stores, if you haven't noticed, looking on the shelves and seeing the empty shelves, and it's definitely going to start trickling down to, if it already hasn't impacted your business, it's going to start trickling down, and it's going to impact your business, impact your your supplies or whatever. Is that something that they're taking into consideration? Because I've heard that over the next couple of months, as we're hitting the holidays, the beginning of next year, it can be very crucial and severely impact some of our small businesses. Is that something that they're looking at?
Yes, we definitely have talked about that. That's definitely on the table. Import and export are a few things that it's on our radar.
Okay.
And it's definitely in the conversation. It's been in several conversations. So we're still working through what some of that may look like, and what that means for our borrowers.
Okay, wonderful. Yep. All right. Jesse asked, I think you talked about there's some programs that you have in the work for startups. So Jesse asked, is there anything in the works for nonprofits?
So I'm sorry, you guys. There is, so Jesse, quote me correctly. I said, I have some thoughts around franchises and startups, not that things are in the works for franchises and startups. So, but we have programs, current programs for both. And that's through Natalie, my colleague, through OCAP, Ohio Capital Access Program, and through CEP, Collateral Enhancement Program. So she does have, we do have ways that nonprofits can be funded, and that startups can be funded as well.
Okay. Yep. I didn't know that. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Excellent resource. I actually reached out to Chandretta because I thought she was associated with the MBAC. And when she told me about these new programs, I said, definitely, we have to have you on as a resource. So take advantage of these resources. If you are been in business at least a year, you have the certifications, you heard of just the requirements, but what a great opportunity to get some of your, if you're looking to get machinery at this time, equipment. She said one of the loans, you could refinance business debt, you could get leasehold, do improvements, renovations, real estate purchases, great loan packages to do that. And if you are focusing on government contracting, these loan programs, access to capital, is a great way to expand your capacity and expand your capital, which if you're looking to do business with government, those are two of the primary areas that really government contracting looks to do is to grow your business capacity-wise and capital-wise. So fantastic. Thank you so much, Chandretta. It's always wonderful to hear what's available. I'm sure this may be new to some of you, but definitely spread the word. And again, it's not just for government contracting, but if you're looking to do business just in other markets, I'm sure these programs could be essential and definitely assist your small business.
And Shonda, if you don't mind, can I add one more thing to that? To circle back around, just to kind of talk about the partnership with the MBAC as well. I've been in this industry, this field for a very long time, and I've seen people under borrow and over borrow when they lend. And so our MBACs are able to really walk you through making sure that you are borrowing enough capital and not too much capital, so that you can be in great position to scale and grow your business. I've seen businesses over borrow and go out of business, and I've seen businesses not have enough capital and not be able to sustain. So it's very crucial for you to get in the ecosystem with these agencies, organizations, SBDC with Ellen, the MBAC with Jesse, to make sure that your numbers add up and make sense, not for only where you're at, but where you're headed. And so I just want to put that in your ear too. Just because, you know, it's 45,000 at 0% doesn't mean your cash flows. And even if your cash flow supports us, because we won't give it to you if your cash flow doesn't support it, but even if it does, do you need it? Do you need it? And so those are questions that you can get answered with our other entrepreneur support organizations. So I just wanted to add that, and I'll be quiet.
No, I'm glad that you did, because with that, is that a requirement that if they do take advantage of the loans, that they do have to work with an MBAC or an SBDC to ensure, to your point, that they're not over borrowing, under borrowing, and so that they'll be able to be great fiscally responsible with the money? So is that a requirement? Because if not, it really should be.
I'm pushing for it to be a requirement. We have to be careful how we use that term. I'm pushing it for, pushing for it to be a requirement, but I'm hoping that business owners will be honest with themselves and take that fiscally responsible measure to say, hey, listen, I'm very great at my craft. I'm very great at doing what I do, but I don't understand the business of business. Let me go get the support I need so that my back office, so while that I'm top heavy and I'm bringing business in, I don't have a lot of runoff in the back. And just, you know, financial literacy means language. And so I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak French. I don't speak other languages. So I need a translator, and people who don't speak financial language or don't understand financial literacy need a translator. And so myself and Jesse and Ellen, that's the office that we sit in. We're able to translate the financial industry to business owners and others who don't know the language. We're able to stand in the gap and be those translators for them. And so it's about being honest and being responsible and going to get the help that you need when you need it. So.
Right. Wonderful. Great. Take advantage of these resources, because again, as Chandretta mentioned, as a small business, you could be great at your craft, what it is you do, the products or services that you offer. But running a business, it's not just one-sided where you're providing that service for that business, but you have to pay payroll. You have to juggle so many different balls. But definitely, as you are increasing, and we're talking about government contracting, you're starting to get these larger contracts, knowing how to manage the funds. And sometimes funds are coming in knowing, okay, I can't, spend this, or I have to save it. I have to put this for that. But definitely working with your SBDCs, your MBACs, to help you manage that cash flow and actually have you set up a system. If you haven't already done so, then you can work with them to do that. Again, thank you so much, Chandretta. This has been great. Let's move right along. We are going to have our Ohio University PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And so far, the resources that we've kind of shared this morning, the SBDC, the MBAC, and the MBDD, are all resources that can assist with you at any stage and growth of just regular business. And And then also if you're doing business mainly with the state and local government for the most part. And so this next resource, the Ohio Procurement Technical Assistance Center, can assist with you doing business with any level of government, even the federal government. So we do have Jane Stewart that's presenting for OU PTAC.
Thank you, Shonda.
Thank you.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and welcome everybody. I'm glad you could join us today. I'm going to tell you all about the great things that PTAC can do for you and your business. So the mission of PTAC works with businesses to train them in the pursuit of prime government contracts or subcontracts. All of our services are free. That's a very important point to mention. We do not assist with grants. That is out of our scope of work. But anything having to do with government contracting on a federal, state, or local level, your local PTAC can assist you. PTAC is funded by the Ohio University and the federal government, specifically the Department or the Defense Logistics Agency, as well as the state of Ohio. We are not affiliated with any business or any for-profit enterprise. We are completely independent and free of bias. Government contracting is big business. And I'm very proud to say in Ohio in calendar year 2019, I'm sorry I didn't update to 2020 numbers, but in 2019, we helped our businesses obtain over $1 billion in prime and subcontracts. That's huge. And that wasn't only federal contracts, it was also state and local contracts. So I'm proud to say that we are very good at what we do, and we would love to assist your business. So federal contracting is a huge market. The government buys practically everything. They don't make anything, but they need to buy a lot of supplies and equipment, as well as services. In fiscal year 2020, the government spent over $681 billion. That is huge. Some of the reasons that you might want to consider contracting with the federal government, they pay on time. Once you submit a correct invoice, they will remit payment within 30 days. And if they go past that 30-day mark, you will receive interest. Now, it's not a whole lot of interest, but every penny counts. Once you have proven your company to be a good vendor or contractor, the federal government can be a great repeat customer. And somebody has to get these contracts. So why not why not have Ohio companies get these contracts and bring it to our own backyard, bring those dollars to our own backyard? Some other advantages of being a small business in the federal marketplace is 23% of federal contracts are set aside for only small business. That's over $136 billion. That's huge. And then within that 23%, there are also additional contracting goals. There's a 5% goal to award women-owned businesses, 5% for the 8A program, which is a socioeconomic program through the SBA. 3% goal to award HubZone certified companies. A HubZone is an area of higher than average unemployment and lower than average income, historically underutilized business zone. And then there's a 3% goal for service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. The Veterans Administration has their own goals. They have a 12% veteran goal and a 10% service-disabled veteran-owned goal. All of the PTAC counselors in Ohio have gone through training to provide assistance with the veteran verification program. The VA does require that veteran businesses wanting to sell their goods and services to the VA, they have to go through the verification process. Right now, there is not that requirement for other federal agencies, but I can see that coming down the road. So who purchases what you have to offer? How often? When? How much? Who's getting the contract awards? This is all really important information before you jump into the federal marketplace. It's important that you know your NAICS codes, the North American Industrial Classification codes. The NAICS codes identify the type of business a company is. Government solicitations will be categorized by those NAICS codes. So it's important that you know where you fit. Some of the resources to look up historical information on what company or what contracts are available, what type of, how frequently something is being purchased. You can go to sam.gov. That's a website where all government contracts are posted that are over $25,000. USA Spending is a good resource to look up historical information. What agencies purchase what you have to offer? How frequently do they purchase? Those are really good that's a very good resource to look up that kind of intel. Acquisition.gov is a website that has the procurement forecasts posted. Just like you and I have to budget if we're going to buy a new car or a new house or whatever, the government also has to do acquisition planning. And you can find forecasts of the large purchases that every government agency has on their plan at acquisition.gov. It's also important to know how a particular agency or department does their purchasing. They can purchase through sealed bidding, which is for higher dollar value purchases, requests for proposal, micro purchases. Many buyers can purchase up to $10,000 on a credit card. That's low-hanging fruit, and it is often easy to get those sales. You have to do a lot of marketing and get your name out there. But if you can accept a credit card, those might be the type of sales that you want to go after. And it's important to know that what you have to offer would fall in that category. Some agencies will also use a GSA schedule. A GSA schedule is essentially a pre-approval of a company's product or service and your pricing structure. Okay, sorry. Now, also, you have to make sure that you are government ready. Before you even venture out and start marketing your company or talking to any government buyers, you have to have your foundation laid. And part of that foundation is the system for award management. If you want to do business on the federal level, your company has got to be registered in SAM. Once you get registered in SAM, you'll be assigned a CAGE code. That cage code identifies your company, and it's also how you get paid. In order to start the SAM registration, right now you have to have a DUNS number, and that DUNS number is available to small businesses at no cost. You can call the phone number listed, or you can go to the DNB website and obtain a DUNS number. The DUNS number is actually going to be going away possibly next year, and it will be replaced by a unique identification, a unique ID. For the time being, it's a DUNS number, so make sure you get a DUNS number and then go to the SAM website. Once you are at the SAM website, you can also get your business all set up in the SBA Small Business Dynamic Database. That's a database that company or that government buyers will use to locate particular types of businesses. So it's important that you have a complete SAM and dynamic database registration. Do not pay for SAM. SAM is free for businesses. You do not have to pay $600. If you need help with SAM, you call PTAC, or you can call the SBA. We're here to help you, and just don't pay for it. And make sure that you are at sam.gov. If you're not at a .gov website, you're at the wrong place. And if they ask for a credit card, you're definitely at the wrong place, and you want to back out of there ASAP.
Call PTAC for assistance with SAM, not SBA.
Oh, yeah.
PTAC.
PTAC, it's all about PTAC. Thank you. Another thing that you want to have as part of your government contracting foundation is a capability statement. A capability statement is essentially a one-page resume of your company, who you are, what you do, how you do it, who you've done it for, why you're fabulous, and why I should do business with your company. This will have all the basic information that tells a government buyer you are procurement ready. You'll want it to list your DUNS number, your cage code, your NAICS codes, your socioeconomic business status. All of those things tell the buyer that you're ready. So anybody going to the matchmaker next month, you need to make sure you have your capability statement ready to go and to provide it to all of the organizations that you'll be meeting with. So just to kind of go over the services that PTAC can offer, we can help you with federal, state, and local government procurement. There are many certifications that are available to small businesses. On a federal level, there's the 8A program, HubZone, WOSB, and the Veteran Verification. Those certifications are all SBA programs, but there are more of us than there are of them. So your local PTAC help you with those applications. We can't write anything for you or submit anything for you, but we can make sure that your package includes all of the required documents. We can help you with that SAM registration. And again, let me stress, don't pay for it. I hear of too many businesses that unfortunately get conned into, excuse me, that's not right, that unfortunately pay and when it's not needed. We can assist you with that capability statement. We have templates that we can provide. We can review your capability statement and offer suggestions. I cannot stress how important it is for a company to have a really powerful capability statement. You have only a few seconds to really capture the attention of a potential customer, and that capability statement can help do that. I think one of our most important services is our daily bid matching. This is how we can help you to identify opportunities. We can put together a list of keywords that represent the products or services a company offers, and then that list is searched against all of the open procurements that are out there. Opportunities over 25,000 are posted on sam.gov, but there are many, many other websites that will post opportunities. And our system will scan all of them, and you'll receive one daily email notification. Then when you find something of interest, we can help you with the bidding process or proposal development process. Anything that you might need in order to put together a response, we can try to help you with. Marketing, we can help you do some market research, find out who buys what you have to offer and at what pricing. And we can also help with other topics such as obtaining a GSA schedule or other type of multiple or any other type of contracting vehicle. Just call us and we will help you. So how do you obtain PTAC services? Well, there are PTACs located in every state in the country. Here in Ohio, you can go to ptac.ohio.edu. There is a registration tab at the top. Fill in the information. Then when we receive it, we will contact you to schedule an initial appointment, and we'll talk about how we can help you, what your goals are. There are 9 PTACs in the state of Ohio, so I'm sure there is one located close to you that can assist. Right now, we are all working remotely. So that initial appointment will most likely be a Zoom meeting. And here's a map of where everybody is located. We have an office in Cleveland, located at the SBA, Lakeland Community College, they're everywhere. If you're not located in Ohio, you can go to the aptac-us.org website, and there you can click on a state and you'll be able to find your local PTAC contacts that way. But if you have any trouble finding, don't hesitate to contact me or one of my Ohio colleagues, and we'll help you find your local office. So in summary, government procurement is tough. There's a lot of competition out there. Don't get discouraged. The average time before a company gets their first award is usually about 12 to 18 months. I've worked with companies that have received their first contract within just a couple months. And unfortunately, I've worked with companies who just never seem to get that first contract. If you don't understand the process and the procedures, you're going to be at a really severe disadvantage. It's important that you read the solicitation documents, that you understand exactly what the contract is requiring of you. Everything is written in governmentese, so we can help you figure all of this stuff out. All government contracts have FAR clauses listed, the Federal Acquisition Regulations. Those are the rules of doing government contracting. They can be very difficult to understand sometimes. So if you have questions, if you don't understand something, reach out to your local PTAC and we will help you. Networking, network. It is so important to get out there and meet the players. The Matchmaker is a great event to meet buying activities and let them know what you have to offer. Hopefully next year we'll be meeting in person at the matchmaking event. And I encourage you to take advantage of every opportunity possible to get out, hand out your capability statement, meet people, get the word out there about what a great company you are. And make sure before you start anything that you are ready for government procurement. Get that SAM registration done. Do your research. I lost my thought. Do your homework. Before you meet with anybody at the matchmaker, make sure that you do research on that organization. Know what they need and how you can fulfill that need. The worst thing that you can do when you go to a matchmaking event is sit down with somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Jane. How are you? What does your organization buy?" No. You have to be ready. You have to know what they buy, how they buy it, and how your company fits with their mission. And most importantly, remember your local PTAC office is ready and willing to help you. Here's my contact information. Feel free to contact me if you're in another area. I cover the Northeast Ohio corner. If you're in another area, I can put you in touch with your local PTAC counselor. And that is what I have for you today. Are there any questions?
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Jane. I don't see any questions in the chat, but a couple things I want to clarify and bring up before we bring on Phil, if I can. Okay, I was trying to, for some reason, I can't undo show my camera. It's not working, but you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
So for some reason, the button is not showing up. Okay, well, that's okay. You can hear me. Thanks again, Jane. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. I think there it goes. It's showing, but I can't access it. Well, I think it's safe to say that a lot of things that you heard Jane present today is really essentially on how to do business, their tips and tools and some of the basic foundational things of how you do business with the federal government, which I think is one of PTAC's, if you will, niches, doing business with the federal government. They even do have one of their advisors that has experience of running and procurement office with a college and university. So that's kind of their niche, is doing business with the federal government. So a lot of things that you heard her talk about, the SAM registration, the system for word management, and some of the certifications and the federal government's goals, that's strictly if you're looking to do business with the federal government. Mm-hmm. All government entities are essentially the same. They buy products and services. The state has to buy paper, they have to buy IT services, the federal government, federal agencies, the city, the county, your municipalities, they all have to buy goods and services. How they buy them, the process of how they buy them, and how you need to be engaged and set up as a vendor, those processes are different. So you always need to find out, what is the process for doing business with the state? How do I get set up as a vendor? The certifications that Jesse talked about are certifications for the state of Ohio. So it's always important to find out, what level of government do you have the capacity to do business with? Do you have the capital to do business with? So that's essentially important. And I usually recommend, I'll throw this out because I've actually worked with the SBDC, worked with PTAC prior to working with the SBA. Typically, if you're just starting out, I always recommend kind of doing business with the local and state government first, prior to going to the federal government. I essentially will say, I look at the federal government kind of as the Olympics of government contracting. And so it's a great way to start out at the local, state, municipality levels to help you kind of grow your capacity and learn, and then kind of venture up. But one of the things Jane mentioned about prime and subcontracts, essentially a prime contract is you as a small business has a direct contract with an agency. That means you got the contract, you won it, you're signing on the dotted line, and not another company. A subcontractor is you are doing business with a prime. So it's not a direct, you don't have direct access to the contract, but it's through another company. So a lot of times it may, before you can get a prime contract where you're doing business directly with the government agency to help penetrate a government market, a great way for you to start is being a subcontractor. And with that, we do have a panel. This is a plug because we have a panel on Friday that's going to talk about primes, and you do have some large prime contracts, some companies, and I can't think of the names now, your Battels, your, I can't think of some of the larger companies that are government contractors, but a company, a small business can be a prime contractor. But we are having a subcontracting panel on Friday. So if you want to look out for that at 1 o'clock, and then also a prime contracting panel at 10 o'clock on Friday. Another thing, I think that's kind of essentially, I just wanted to make those distinguishing. I wanted to bring that out because some of you may be wondering, you know, do I need to get a DUNS number, which is like a social security number for your business if I want to do business with the state? No, you don't.
Right.
That's strictly a requirement for doing business with the federal government. Do I have to have NAICS codes? That's the classification system if you're doing business with the federal government. The state of Ohio has something different. The city has something different, and your local counties also have a different process. But you can continue to work with the other resources to find out what those processes are. They didn't bring those up in details, but there's always much more when you're doing government contracting. There's always so much more to learn.
That's
so great.
That's why you need to call the local resources, schedule an appointment, and get the whole story.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's wonderful to know because sometimes you may think it's all the same, but it's not.
Right.
But great job, Jane.
Thank
and
you. Could I just take one more moment?
Go right ahead.
I would like to give Sharon Hopkins a shout out. Sharon is my program director for the OU PTAC. She covers a huge area of the state of Ohio, and she's just awesome. So just wanted to give a little shout out to Miss Sharon.
Thank you. Yes, Sharon Hopkins, who is the director of the Ohio University PTAC and covers all of the 9 centers, the 9 offices, and they cover 68, I believe, of Ohio's 88 counties, the Ohio University PTAC. So thanks so much, Sharon, for all you do. She is working behind the scenes to facilitate this Zoom. So we're grateful for her. Our last resource for today, again, Jane, one of the things that PTAC does a great job, and one of their niches is assisting companies with, it's not the only thing they do, but one of their niches is doing business with the federal government. And so with that, it's a good segue for our next resource, who is Phil McLean. And Phil McLean works for the SBA, Small Business Administration, like I do, but he's a PCR. You may not heard of a PCR, Procurement Center representative. One of the things Jane talked about was these FAR clauses, and you're thinking, what is the FAR? Federal Acquisition Regulation, all of the wonderful clauses that your contracts are governed by. So not only is Phil an SBA PCR, but Phil is a former contracting officer. I worked at DLA. So he's going to close us out and share what PCRs do and what he has the wonderful opportunity to do, and what you can take advantage of in working with Phil.
Thanks, Shonda, and thanks to PTAC and that presentation. Actually, all of the presenters up to this point. There's a wealth of resources out there. I wasn't aware of some of the resources available at the state level. I'm going to talk about some additional resources you have at the federal level for specific to government contracting. Let me get my screen going here. I'm going to share. And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the Procurement Center representative functions. I am as Shonda said, I'm a Procurement Center representative. I work here in Ohio, in Columbus. So let's talk about some of the roles and responsibilities of what a PCR does. So PCR, their authority first off is from the Small Business Act directly. So it's a position created by Congress. The language for that has been promulgated into the FAR, or Federal Acquisition Regulation, and SBA's regulations in the CFR, or Code of Federal Regulations. So on the left-hand side of the slide here, you can see you can find some of that regulatory language for the authority of the PCR, and PCRs also have to have specific qualifications. So they have to be in the 1102 contracting or acquisition series. They have to be level 3 contracting certified. They have to have a background in acquisition. So all of our PCRs are typically have previously worked as contracting officers or contracting specialists. Go to the next slide. Okay, so here's this slide shows you what some of the PCR's customers are. There's 5 different groups here that interact with PCRs. Small businesses are right in the middle because they're the basis of why we even have a job. But to be honest with you, 90% or more of a PCR's interaction are going to be with the 2 groups that are over on the left-hand side of the slide here: the federal buyers and the small business professionals. So PCRs interact with them on a regular basis. Part of their regular job duties is to interact with these 2 groups. But PCRs also interact with the groups on the right. So SBA staff, that could be the SBA district office personnel, could be the SBA headquarters personnel or program managers. And then we also interact with our resource partners, PTAC being probably the most interactive, but also the Veterans Business Centers, the Women's Business Centers, SCORE, SBDC, and so on. Now this slide, this is a Procurement Center representative overview. This is, in a nutshell, what PCRs do. So our main goal is to advocate on behalf of small businesses. And we also provide a lot of training to our main customer, which is the federal agencies, the contracting activities or buying activities. One of the main things we do is we can mediate small business issues. And I know Shonda mentioned earlier that a lot of people don't know about PCRs, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That means that you probably didn't run into an issue, and so that's a good thing. But we can help mediate some of the small business contracting issues. And then the meat of our job is that we work closely with the contracting staff at federal buying offices. Many of the PCRs you'll find that are actually co-located with those contracting staff. So like for instance, I have an office in the same building as the contracting office that one of the contracting officers that I cover. So we communicate with those agency personnel on their upcoming, contracts, upcoming requirements. We review their acquisitions and solicitations. Our whole intent is to try to make it more, to create more opportunities for small businesses. So to make it more favorable for small businesses in some way or another. We provide a lot of updates to the small business regulations to the agencies, because a lot of times they might not be aware that something changed. So we have to stay on top of that so that they're well informed of what the new rules and regulations are. We assist the agencies meet their small business goals. Now, the goals are theirs to meet, and we will do everything we can to help them when that comes up. And a lot of times that's through training or counseling, and sometimes technical assistance with the agencies. Some of the other things we do is we review subcontracting plans. Now, as Shonda and Jane mentioned before, a subcontract is you don't have the contract, but you're performing for you're performing a subcontract for the person who does have the contract. So when a company is not small, or as we tend to call them other than small, and they have a contract with the federal government, and if it's over a certain dollar amount, they're required to submit a subcontracting plan, and then SBA PCRs review those. And what we're doing is we're looking to make sure that those large businesses or other than small businesses are providing the maximum practicable opportunities for small businesses in the performance of that contract. Something else PCRs can do, that we receive copies of the cure notices or show cause notices for firms located in our territory, and we can offer assistance if that's needed. Usually those cure notices or show cause notices are something that the contracting office sends when they're unsure about your performance on the contract. So they want you to show cause for why they shouldn't terminate your contract. And we can help mediate some of those issues. And then overall, we review the buying office's small business policies and procedures. Overall, they're programmed towards small businesses. One of the main things that a PCR does is we review their proposed acquisitions. And the number one tool we can do to make something more approachable to small business is to recommend that they set that procurement aside specifically or exclusively for small businesses. So that's called a small business set aside. And there's different categories of that I'm not going to go into today because it could take a while. But we can recommend that. And SBA is an advisory agency, so they don't have to take that recommendation, but there's an administrative process if they want to, if the agency wants to go through that. So there's some appeals and things that SBA can do. We can also recommend, new qualified small business sources. One of the most interesting things we can do is recommend breakouts of components for competitive acquisitions. So if there's this really large contract instrument that a small business probably couldn't do the entire contract, but there's a small portion of it that small businesses could do. SBA PCRs can recommend that gets broken out of the larger requirement for a competitive acquisition. The number one thing here is that red leg alternate contracting method. We can recommend any alternate contracting method that the PCR reasonably believes will increase small business contracting opportunities. I know it says prime contracting opportunities, but it could also include subcontracting opportunities as well. We can make a recommendation to include a small business on a bid list, and we have some appeal authorities when that doesn't happen. And right in the middle, that 13 CFR, that's Title 13 of the Code of Federal Regulations, and that's the small business regulations that we follow. Parts 125.2 talks about some of the PCR things that PCRs can do, and FAR, or Federal Acquisition Regulation, subpart 19.402 has additional information. And since we're talking about the FAR a little bit, I wanted to just give you some of the key FAR citations. Actually, FAR Part 19 is all small business stuff, but there's a lot of small business in the FAR in other parts as well. But these are some of the key references that if you wanted to look up further, here you go. These slides will be available after the presentation, so feel free to do that. So now I'm going to talk about locating a PCR, because you might need to talk to a PCR if you're having issues with an agency, if you have some questions about some of the SBA contracting programs, maybe even it's as simple as I don't understand this clause, or it could be as complex as I don't think that this agency is doing things right when it comes to small business rules and regulations. You're going to want to locate a PCR. Now, unlike some of the other resources you've seen today, PCRs are assigned to contracting agencies. So even though I'm in the state of Ohio and I cover, Ohio, I'm covering the contracting agencies within my location. So if you are dealing with a federal agency that's located in Pennsylvania, you're not going to want to contact me because I don't cover that agency. You're going to want to contact the PCR that covers that specific contracting buying location. And a lot of times the PTACs can help you identify who the PCR is. But if you wanted to do that on your own, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So here's a map that kind of shows you how the SBA Office of Government Contracting is broken down, and all PCRs fall under the Office of Government Contracting. And that's broken down in 6 specific areas, which is how the map's separated here. The colors are for regions, but the areas are for the actual separation there. I think at full strength, the PCRs are somewhere between 50 and 75 PCRs across the country. Now there's over 10,000 federal contracting offices. So, you can do the math there. You're going to see that PCRs aren't specific to just one contracting agency. They cover multiple, most of the time over 10 agencies per PCR. So you're going to want to go to locate a PCR. Here's actual hyperlinks if you want to jot those down or get those off the slides later. But the easiest way I always remember is just go to sba.gov. And you will see this tab at the top that says federal contracting. It looks a little different. They've updated the website, and I haven't updated my slides, but this is essentially the same thing. Federal contracting, and then you're going to see counseling and help, and you'll click on that, and you'll see the PCR directory, or Procurement Center Representative directory. And that's going to give you a listing of all the PCRs in the country, separated by area office first. So that map that I showed you on the previous slide, followed by each individual state, and then it'll have the PCRs in those states and the federal buying activities that each one of those PCRs cover. And it'll look something like this. This is area 4, and it's going to be separated by state. So I'm in Ohio. It's going to tell you the contracting agencies that's covered. As you can see here, I'm in Columbus, I'm in Cleveland, I'm in Cincinnati. I'm not physically at all of these, but I have a relationship with each of the small business offices at those buying activities. So interactions with the small business professionals and the contracting officers and specialists. So if you hypothetically wanted to, see if you were doing business, if you were aware of a contracting opportunity at, for instance, Fort Hood, Texas, you would simply go through this same process and search for Texas, and then under activities covered, find Fort Hood, and then you have the contact information of the PCR who covers Fort Hood. A lot of times I just go to this page, and then I'll type, Control F to do a search, and I'll type the name of the contracting activity, and then it'll show me the PCR right above it. So that's probably the easiest way to do that. And that PCR should be able to help you with any of your questions. And if they can't, they probably know somebody who can. And their main point of contact is going to be the agency small business specialist, who has a very similar job as the PCR, but they are not independent of the contracting agency, where SBA is a completely separate agency who has oversight. So if the PCR can't give you a direct answer, they're going to put you in touch with somebody who can within the agency, and make sure if you don't get the answers you need, you follow up with the PCR. So I know I went through that rather quickly, but I want to give you guys some time to ask any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you so much, Phil. And it looks like we don't have any questions in the chat. But I do want to say, again, just kind of echo what Phil mentioned. He does work for the SBA, and I work directly with firms that have been certified into the 8A program. It is a federal government certification for companies that are economically and socially disadvantaged. It's similar to the state's EDGE, encouraging diversity, growth, and equity. And sometimes some of my firms have run into some issues with their contracts. And so Phil has been a great resource to kind of help navigate those issues. And sometimes you need someone that has an understanding sometimes of those FAR clauses, has an understanding maybe of the contract of an agency. So he's definitely a great resource, and is there to support the small business, there to advocate for the small business. So we're grateful to have him. If there are no questions, you can go ahead and type those in. Thank you again, Phil. And again, Phil's niche area and specific area is definitely for federal government. So he is a resource to assist you with your efforts with federal government. And even if it's, beyond the matchmaker, Phil is a great resource. You can email him if you have questions. Maybe it's about a FAR clause. So he can respond to that and is definitely willing to assist. If there are no questions, I just want to say thank you again to all of our guest panelists. This has been a phenomenal session. I always get a chance to, unfortunately, I would turn on my, oh, there it goes. Okay, it was stuck. I want to thank every single panelist today. I think not only are they rock stars in their own rights, but one of the things I've noticed in working with small businesses for almost 20 years in various different capacities. I used to be at the SBDC, used to be a PTAC counselor, is I think each and every one of them is passionate about what they do. And you can readily see that, you can hear it in working with them. I know some of them and have known some of them longer than others, but they're passionate. And then also a few of them like Ellen and I believe Chandretta have owned their small businesses, and Phil's done some entrepreneurial things. So they have an understanding of a perspective of being a small business or doing some entrepreneurial projects. So that in and of itself is a definite asset as they work with you. So again, we want to thank the SBDC and Ellen Harvey. We want to thank Jesse Mark with the MBAC. We want to thank Chandretta Boykins with MBDD, and want to thank Jane Stewart with the PTAC and Phil McLean with as an SBA PCR. Everybody saying thank you. Just want to echo, this is I think we have maybe 4 more trainings coming up. We have 2 this Friday. We have one on, I'm reading, somebody has sent a comment. We have one on Friday, 2 on Friday. The very first one at 10 o'clock, doing business with primes. So these are large prime contractors. So these are large companies. So that's at 10 o'clock. And then I'll be facilitating doing business with subcontracting, focusing on maybe you want to break into the federal market, you want to break into doing business with the state, and you can't do it on your own, but you want to do it as a subcontractor. So we are having another panel discussion, and we have about 5 companies that have done subcontracting. They're going to share their journey, best practices, tips and advice, what they did and how subcontracting helped them. And then they're also going to share some suggestions and advice and give you feedback on how to win maybe your first prime contract. So you get a direct contract award. And then the following week, I think the first week of, no, we may have 4 more after that. I don't know the schedule offhand, but you can go to, it's a great segue, because even though I don't know off the top of my head all the things I have to remember, I don't have to remember them. You can go to the Ohio Business Matchmaker website, ohiobusinessmatchmaker.com, to look at all of the wonderful webinars that we have coming up. You can register for them. You can also, while you're on that page, there is a link for previous recordings. This should be posted. This may take a couple days to be posted on that site. You can access this. You want to know more about the Matchmaker event, a little bit more, get some background, what you can expect. You can also click on the resources page, previous recordings. Also, this will be located on PTAC's website. So the Ohio University PTAC, Jane, if you could do the honors of typing that in the chat of where they can find today's link. It takes usually a couple of days for this to be posted, but all of the links are posted there, as well as other wonderful webinars and trainings on how to do business, variety of different government contracting topics, from government contracting 101, talking about the updates with Sam, putting together a capability statement. So you can find that. I'm going to read this comment real quick, including, yes, I think Chandretta has to go. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Chandretta. She does have to leave. If anyone's interested in the Minority Business Development Division, their email is in her presentation. I'll put that in the chat. I'll copy this. So again, I know she had to jump off. So thank you again for all of the panelists. Thank you today. There's the PTAC website. So if you want to get the link for today's, again, it takes a couple of days to get posted. And then all of the presentations, I believe maybe we can put them into one, Sharon, and post them there. A lot of great information, great resources today. So again, thank you to everyone. And then last but not least, again, all of these are preparation. Thank you, Jesse. You want to find the more information about the Minority Business Assistance Center, the MBACs. Jesse only shared just a great overview. But if you want to become a client of the MBAC, go to clu.org/MBAC. So look at that in the chat, and the PTAC website in the chat. SBDC, if you want to type yours in the chat. I do refer companies to these resources if they may contact me and they may need that assistance, whatever it may be. So again, all of these were in preparation for the Ohio Business Matchmaker that will be November 17th and 18th. So if you haven't registered, I believe registration is $35. Please go to ohiobusinessmatchmaker.com. And I believe, is it 2 full days, a day and a half, that it'll be the information and the agendas on the Ohio Business Matchmaker site. So if you haven't registered, go ahead and get registered now. And then again, take advantage of looking at that first webinar so that you get more of an idea of what the Ohio Business Matchmaker, what the event will be like. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing your website. So without further ado, I think we are almost there. Thank you again for your participation today. Again, this has been a wealth of information. Thank you for staying tuned with us, and have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you can join us on Friday for any of those webinars, do so. And then the webinars that we have at the beginning of November, and then definitely joining us on November 17th and 18th for the ohiobusinessmatchmaker.com. So have a fantastic day, and thank you so much again to our presenters and to you as participants. All right, goodbye.